Hello and welcome to another practice. We have a 3-part yoga sequence today. It's a creative vinyasa transition practice wherein we'll be stringing different asanas in fun, new, funky ways. Just something to think outside the box and add some spice to your practice. If you do have a yoga block handy, then have it towards the back of the mat. Other than that, we'll not need any props. Just make the practice your own, and you can just use any of the segments that you like and incorporate that into your practice. Add more asanas or more sequences to it, so you can make it your own in many ways. Please do consider subscribing to the channel, and I'll meet you on the mat whenever you're ready. We'll start the practice in Tadasana at the front of the mat. You can go through a few rounds of sun salutations to add as a warm-up to this practice, but today we'll be jumping right into it. Come to Tadasana at the front of the mat. Engage your core, tuck your tailbone. Inhale, float your heels, sweep your arms all the way up. Exhale, fold forward. Halfway lift. Shift the weight towards the ball mounts of your feet. Reach through the crown of your head. Feel the hamstrings open up. Fold forward. Plant your palms. Step back into plank. Flow through your chaturanga. Upward facing dog. Lift your hips. Transition downward facing dog. Float right leg up. Point your toes. Reach your toes towards the sky. Reach through the crown of your head towards the mat. Bring your right knee into the chest. Plant your right foot in between your palms. Back knee comes down onto the mat. Optional to keep the back toes tucked or release your back toes. Come into low lunge. Sink your hips down towards the mat. If you have released your back toes, tuck your back toes, shift back, bring your sit bones down onto the mat and bring the soles of your feet together, coming into a butterfly, and you're facing the leg that was extended, so towards your right leg, and you're at the back end of the mat. You can sit all the way up in your butterfly, extend your spinal cord, or you can hinge from your hips, fold forward and deepen your hip stretch. Work your shoulders away from your ears and reach through the crown of your head. Lift back up. Extend your right leg forward, point your right foot towards the sky. Square your chest towards your right foot and fold forward. Lift back up. Bring your right foot on the outside of your left thigh, face the front of the mat. Make sure that both your sit bones are down. Wrap your left arm around your right knee. Take a seated twist. You are anchoring the big toe side of your right foot down on the mat to help you twist deeper, go deeper in your twist. Release your twist and rotate your chest towards the back edge of the mat, turning towards your right leg, and take a wide-legged forward fold. Halfway lift, heel toe your feet and fold forward once more. Sit your hips back. Bring your arms alongside your ears. Come into a chair. Tuck your tailbone and sink lower in your chair. Try to float your toes, so the weight is in your heels. Bring your palms to your chest. Sink deeper. Hook your left elbow on the outside of your right knee. Take a twist. Bring your gaze down towards the mat. Float your left foot, and you can stay there in the flamingo or slowly start extending your left leg, still keeping your twist. Hold your balance. Plant your back foot. Bring your palms down onto the mat. Float your right leg. Flow through chaturanga. upward dog, lift your hips, downward facing dog. Float your left leg, reach through your left toes towards the sky and reach through the crown of your head towards the mat. Left knee to chest, plant your left foot, bring the back knee down onto the mat. Arms come alongside your ears, low lunge, sink your hips down. Shift your hips back, bring the soles of your feet together, turn towards your left leg. Sit bones come down onto the mat, butterfly towards the front of the mat. Lengthen your spine, either stay here, optional, to fold forward, deepen your hip stretch. Come back up, bring your left foot on the outside of your right thigh. Square your chest towards the back edge of the mat. Both your sit bones are down. Wrap your right hand around your left knee, twist. Anchor the big toes edge of your left foot down into the mat and deepen your twist. Turn towards your left foot. Keep turning, face the front of the mat, wide-legged forward fold. Halfway lift, heel toe your feet, fold forward once more. Sit your hips down, bring your arms alongside your ears, come into a chair. Tuck your tailbone, float your toes, bring your palms to your chest, hook your right elbow on the outside of your left leg, twist your chair, bring your gaze down onto the mat, float your right leg, stay here in flamingo or extend your right leg all the way back and balance, hold your twist, release your back foot, palms come down onto the mat, float your left leg, flow through Chaturanga, upward dog, downward facing dog. We'll take that sequence once more. So we'll get used to that transition. Lift your right leg, three-legged dog. Right knee to chest, plant your right foot, back knee comes down, low lunge, sink your hips down towards the mat. Shift your hips back, soles of your feet come together, sit bones come down onto the mat. Your chest is facing your back leg. Keep your spine extended. Sit up here or you can fold forward. Come back up, extend your left leg, bring your right foot to your left inner thigh, square your hips towards your extended leg, fold onto your extended leg. Lift up, bring your left foot on the outside of your right thigh, square your chest towards the front of the mat, sit bones come down onto the mat, wrap your right hand around your left knee, take a twist, anchor the big toe side of your left foot down onto the mat. Release your twist, keep turning towards the back edge of the mat, lift your hips, plant both your feet, wide-legged forward fold. Halfway lift, heel toe your feet, and this time we'll go directly into chair. Sink your hips down, arms come alongside your ears. Palms to chest, hook your left elbow on the outside of your right knee, twist. Bring your gaze down towards the mat, float your left leg, flamingo. Optional to extend your left leg, still keeping the twist. Plant your back foot down, palms come down onto the mat, float your right leg, Chaturanga, upward dog, all the way back, downward facing dog. Float your left leg, three-legged dog, left knee to chest, plant your left foot, Back knee comes down onto the mat and come into low lunge. Shift your hips back. This time turn towards the right leg side of the mat. Soles of your feet come together. Sit in butterfly. Take the variation that suits you today. Come back up. Bring your right foot on the outside of your left thigh. Face the back edge side of the mat. Wrap your left hand around your right knee. Take a twist. Anchor the big toe side of your right foot down onto the mat. Release your twist. Keep turning towards the front of the mat. Lift your hips. Plant both your feet down. Fold forward into a wide-legged forward fold. Halfway lift. Plant your palms. Heel to your feet. Sink your hips down. Sit in your chair. Palms come to your chest. Hook your right elbow on the outside of your left knee. Take a twist. Bring your gaze down. Float your right leg, flamingo. Optional to extend your right leg. Stay in your balance with a twist. Plant your right foot down. Palm the mat. Float through chaturanga. Upward dog. All the way back. Downward facing dog. Float your right leg, three-legged dog. Right knee to chest. Plant your right foot. Bring your back knee down onto the mat. Sink your hips down, back to low lunge. Bring your left palm down onto the mat and open your chest towards the long edge side of the mat. Take a easy twist variation. Roll onto the knife edge side of your right foot and sink your hips further down towards the mat. Bend your back leg, grab your back foot and take a quad stretch. Keep opening your top shoulder up towards the sky. Release your quad stretch, tuck your back toes and come back into low lunge. Shift your hips back and bring both your knees in line with each other. Tuck back toes down onto the mat. Lift your hips up. Make sure that your hips are directly in line with your knees. You can support your lower back with your palms and squeeze your glutes. Push your hips forward. Open your chest up towards the sky. Release back. Bring your palms alongside your ears and fold forward, child's pose, or you can come into a puppy variation. Shift your shoulders directly over your elbows and open your knees out. Transition into a frog stretch. Bring your hips in line with your knees and your ankles are in line with your knees. Keep working your tailbone down towards the mat. Bring your palms next to your chest. Push back up. Bring your knees down towards your hips. Tuck your back toes and shift back. Float your knees coming into a toe balance. Plant both your feet and open your knees out. Malasana. Hold your Malasana for a breath. Palms at your chest. Your elbows are pushing your knees out and your knees are pushing your elbows in. You should feel your inner thighs on fire. Optional, you can wrap your right hand around your right knee and take a bind in your Malasana. Continue to keep your bind. Bring your sit bones down onto the mat. Extend your left leg. Flex your left foot and stay here. Or if you have the flexibility and the mobility in your hips, you can fold forward. Release your bind, bring your right palm behind you and lift your hips up. Bring your right shin parallel to the back edge of the mat. Come into a supported side plank variation. Extend your left hand alongside your ears. Next exhale, bring your shoulders over your hips. Transition into a gate. Square your chest towards the front of the mat. Bring your left foot to face the front of the mat and come into a low lunge. Palms to your chest. Lift your back knee off the mat. Tuck your back toes and float your back leg. Transition into warrior 3. Bring your right knee into chest. Come back to standing in one-legged Tadasana. Grab your right foot behind you. You can have your left hand extended alongside your ears. Start kicking your right feet into your right hand and transition into a dancers. Release your dancers into one-legged Tadasana. Flow through warrior 3. Back foot comes down onto the mat. High crescent lunge. Plant your palms down on the mat. Flow through Chaturanga. Upward dog. Downward facing dog. Float your left leg, three-legged dog. Left knee to chest. Plant your left foot. Back knee comes down onto the mat. Sink your hips down. Low lunge. Bring your right palm on the inside of your left foot. Take a twist. Roll on to the knife edge side of your left foot. Keep sinking your right knee, right hip down towards the mat. Bend your back leg. Grab hold of your back foot and take a quad stretch. Keep rotating your top shoulder up towards the sky. Release. Shift your hips back. Stack your hips directly over your knees and bring your knees in line with each other. Support your lower back, or you can choose to take a full camel this time and squeeze your glutes. Push your hips forward. Open your chest up towards the sky. If you're taking a full camel, bring your palms out to your heels. Release. Slowly come back up. Arms come alongside your ears. Bring your hands down onto the mat. Transition into a puppy, or you can transition into a child's pose. Shift your shoulders over your elbows. Open your knees. Sink your hips down. Come into a frog stretch. Bring your palms next to your chest. Lift back up. Tuck your back toes. Float your knees. Toe balance. Plant your foot and sit in your Malasana. Optional to take a bind. You can wrap your left elbow around your left knee and take a bind. Bring your sit bones down onto the mat. Keep the bind. Extend your left leg, flexing your left foot. Optional to fold forward. Release the bind. Bring your left hand behind your hip and right hand comes alongside your ears. Bring your left knee down and shin parallel to the short edge of the mat, supported side plank. Stack your shoulders directly over your hips. Transition into a gate. Square your chest towards the front of the mat. Point your right foot towards the front of the mat. Transitioning back into low lunge. Tuck your back toes, lift your back knee, palms to chest, float your back foot, warrior 3. Bring your left knee into chest, Tadasana. Grab hold of your left foot behind you on the inside of your left foot. Start kicking into your left hand. Transition into dancers. Release back into one-legged Tadasana. Float back, warrior 3. High crescent lunge. Palm the mat. Flow through Chaturanga. Upward dog. Downward facing dog. We'll take that sequence once more with less cueing this time. Right leg up, 3-legged dog. Plant your right foot in between your palms. Low lunge. Roll onto the knife edge side of your right foot. Transition into a twist. Grab hold of your back foot. Quad stretch. Shift your hips back. Tuck both your toes. Knees come in line with each other. Support your lower back. Open your chest up towards the sky. Push your hips forward. Camel. Release back. Bring your chest onto the mat. Extend your hands. Puppy pose. Coming into a puppy transition. Shift your shoulders directly over your elbows and sink your hips down. Frog stretch. Palms come next to the chest. Push back up. Transition into a toe balance. Plant your foot down. Come into Malasana. Optional to take a bind, wrapping your right hand around your right knee. Sit bones come down onto the mat. Extend your left leg, flex your left foot and hold. Right palm comes behind your back. Lift your hips, right shin parallel to the short edge of the mat. Extend your left hand alongside your ears. Flowing through your gate pose. Square your chest to the front of the mat. Tuck your back toes. Palms come to chest. Float your back leg. Warrior 3. Bring your right knee into your chest. One-legged Tadasana. Transition into a dancers. Release. Come back to one-legged Tadasana. Flow through warrior 3. Step back, high crescent lunge. Palm the mat. Flow through your Chaturanga. Let's meet in downward facing dog. Float your left leg, 3-legged dog. Plant your left foot in between your palms. Back knee comes down. Sink your hips. Low lunge. Right palm down onto the mat. Open your left hand towards the sky. Roll onto the knife edge side of your left foot. Bend your back leg. Grab hold of your back foot. Open your chest. Take a quad stretch. Release your stretch. Tuck your back toes. Bring your knees in line with each other. Make sure that your hips are stacked directly over your knees. Transition into camel. You can take a full camel or go back into your supported variation. Open your chest towards the sky. Release your camel. Come into a puppy pose. Shift your shoulders over your elbows. Open your knees. Sink your hips down. Come into a frog stretch. Come into a frog stretch. Palms next to your chest. Push back up. Transition to balance. Plant your feet. Malasana. Optional to bind with your left hand wrapping around your left knee and open your chest. Bring your sit bones down. Extend your right foot, right leg, still keeping your bind. Release your bind. Left palm behind your left hip and lift up. Bring your left shin parallel to the short edge of the mat. Supported side plank. Transition through gate. Face the front of the mat. Low lunge. Tuck your back toes. Lift your knees. Bring your palms to chest. Float into warrior 3. Come, bring your knees, left knee into chest. Tadasana. Grab your left foot behind you. Transition into dancers. Release. Back through Tadasana. Warrior 3. Oops, my balance. Plant your back foot. Flow through Chaturanga. Let's all meet in downward facing dog. Walk your hands back towards your feet. This is where you can use your block. Bring your block a few inches in front of your right foot. Stack your hips and float your left leg, coming into half moon. Hold your half moon for 2 breaths. Bring your left knee towards your chest, face the mat. Lift your heels, both your feet are down on the mat. Come into a toe balance. Optional to float your left leg, coming into a pistol squat and hold. Plant your left foot in front of you. Transition low lunge. Open your chest up towards the sky by cactusing your arms. Extend your arms alongside your ears. Shift your hips back. Extend your left leg. Flex your left foot. Half splits. You can either stay in your half splits or extend all the way out. Come into a full split and hold. Transition back into half splits. Shift forward. Lift your back knee. Frame your front foot. Flow through Chaturanga. Upward dog. Let's meet downward facing dog. Walk your hands towards your feet. This time bring the block in front of your left foot. Stack your hips. Float your right leg. Half moon. And hold your half moon. You can bring your gaze up towards the sky. Bring your right knee to chest. Square your chest towards the mat. Both feet come down onto the mat. Float your heels. Sit in your toe balance. You can move the block out of the way. And optional to float your right leg. Plant your right foot. Transition low lunge. Sink your hips. Open your chest up towards the sky. Shift back. Half splits. Stay here or extend both your legs. Transition into a full split. back into half splits. Frame your front foot, lift your back knee off the mat, flow through Chaturanga. Upward dog, downward facing dog. Walk your hands back to your feet. Bring your block in front of the right foot. Stack your hips, float your left leg, half moon. Square your chest to the mat. Bring your back knee into your chest. Plant your feet. Float your heels. Toe balance. Optional pistol squat, extending your left leg. Plant your left foot. Shift forward into low lunge. Open your chest up towards the sky. Shift back half splits. Optional to extend both your legs, come down full splits. Shift back through half splits. Frame your front foot, float your back knee. Flow through Chaturanga. Upward dog, downward facing dog. Walk your hands to your feet. Last one. Bring your block in front of your left foot. Stack your hips. Float your right leg. Open up half moon. Square your chest to the mat. Bring your knee into your chest. Plant both feet. Float your back heel. Toe balance. This time, if you are going into pistol squat, extend your right leg. Plant your right foot. Shift forward into low lunge. Open your chest towards the sky. Shift back half splits. Optional full split. Shift back into half splits. Frame your front foot. Float your back knee. Flow through Chaturanga. Upward dog. Downward facing dog. Come to seated. Cross your knees. Bring your sit bones down onto the mat and close your eyes. Extend both your legs, flex your feet, bring your block on the outside of your feet. I like to do this when I take a forward fold, seated forward fold. Both your sit bones are down on the mat and exhale, hinge from your hips, fold forward. If you have a block, hold on the outside of your block and use that to bring your chest down towards your thighs. Work your shoulders away from your ears. Extend through the crown of your head. Your legs are active. Pull up on your kneecaps. Keep the back of your neck long. Release your forward fold. Move your block. Come all the way down onto the mat and take your back bend and end the practice. Dig into your heels. Engage your core. Tuck your tailbone. Squeeze your glutes and lift up into your bridge. You can hold here or you can bring the palms on the outside of your ears and flow through your exhale. Push down towards the mat and lift all the way up. Release your back bend. Take a supine twist. Bring your knees on the outside of your left hip. Both your shoulder blades are down on the mat. Switch sides. Hug your knees into chest. Roll side to side, and take a deep breath, exhale, and let's end the practice here in Shavasana. I hope you found those creative transitions interesting, and hopefully that sparked some interest and gave you some ideas that you can incorporate into your daily practice. Please do let me know your thoughts in the comment section below, and I'll see you on the mat next week.